One thing that since you touched on and somebody's also asked a question, what do you think about all the code assistants and chat GPT and like, will this eliminate coders? That is one of the questions somebody has asked.
It's a scary thought, obviously. It's a very scary thought. I think right now the current state it has, I'll be honest, like I also use ChatGPT every day for my everyday work. I think for now, for me, it has replaced the need of Stack Overflow. So earlier I used to search on Google, find some kind of code snippet linked to the issue that I'm facing on Stack Overflow. Right now, ChatGPT is like the one person I help. So it's like a mentor for me right now. But to actually be a replacement for it, I wouldn't say it's not a possibility. I don't see a world where you have no devs. If you start seeing a world where there is one team where you have a PM, an engineering manager, and just the ChatGPT bot, I don't think that is something possible. You'll always have bugs, and you don't expect a bot to solve those bugs. And of course, you have to understand it in more holistically, right? Do you see, let's say, big banks adopting the AI tech for everything? Let's say your money is there with the banks, right? Do they trust an AI engine to handle the entire thing in near future? I don't see it. Similarly, a company like Facebook or Microsoft, who are so much into security, compliance, personal data of the customers, they can't suddenly open all their code endpoints and the entire code base to a bot and just do something. So I think it still needs to evolve and show that merit to actually even be somewhere near. I think right now, what I see in the next 5 years, right now, we are just using it. Maybe in futures, it could help in a way that in a project, let's say, where we needed 5 devs, we might just need 2 or 3 devs because ChatGPT can do a bunch of things as a helper. So right now is maybe just a mentor for a dev. Once it evolves, it can actually be a great help and actually increase our, like the way we code, actually speed will be increased, productivity will be increased, but it will be enhanced. But other than that, I don't feel it will completely replace us. I think that's a very far-fetched future. I don't know 15 years down the line what will happen, but for the near, at least for the foreseeable future, we should be good. And we should also remember, right, there is someone who is also working on building that AI also. So if you're new, getting into the world, of course, get back to the AI field itself. Like, for example, this startup, the firm that we have right now, Jovian, what Akash is doing, right? ML, data science, these are something which will be very key milestones to achieve to make AI a reality. So better to get into that as well, get involved into AI rather than just be an SD, get into AI. I think that way, if let's say some of the SD roles would be eliminated, more roles would come up into the AI section, right? So I don't feel like we'll go anywhere. We are here to stay. So
fair. Yeah, I think I completely agree there that we need far more devs and people in tech than there are today, and we might help reduce our work a little bit, but for now we should be safe.
I think what happened with the cloud computing also, right? If you see 10, 15 years when let's say we didn't have AWS, Azure, every company used to have their own data centers and stuff. They had to maintain everything. Now, obviously, so every company, let's say, had 1,000 employees to do that. Now, because everything is there with AWS obviously still has 60,000 employees, let's say, for example, but you don't have so many like workers with you. But it does not mean the jobs are less. If you compare from 10 years, right now, we have, I don't know, 50 times more jobs in the market. And one more thing that I very strongly feel is that eventually every company in the world will become a software company or a tech company in some shape or form, right? For example, 5 years back, all the banks used to outsource their tech, let's say, to Infosys and TCS in India. Right now, you see every bank is actually building their in-house tech team because they know now to actually get an edge in the market, they have to have their own people there. So I think eventually when right now you see even Adidas and Nike, they are hiring people, architect, chief architect. It's a company who makes shoes, right? But they also have their own tech company. So their own tech team. So I think this is where eventually when everything in the world gets to get an edge in the world, they have to excel in technology. Actually, jobs will increase. So I think we are here to stay, don't, and we shouldn't worry.
Makes sense. So I think one question that has come up is how to keep learning while you get into your career or while you are working, because as you've said, you've worked on Java, Spring, and then you switched into .NET, and then you switched into React, and you were working full time and you are learning these skills. So how do you manage to do that? What is the way to do it?
There are some interesting ways where, let's say, you are in the company, you show you are in some meeting and then you're actually working on it. That's one way to do it. I think one of the things I have found very easy to get involved into hackathons. I think all companies, they usually have one hackathon in 6 months or something like that. So within the company, I think one of the great ways to learn something, because you don't get into hackathon and build something that, I think what I do is I'm always try to build something that I don't know at all. So I think that's the one way that has helped me on a personal level as well. And other than that, I think you have to be disciplined enough. I think I don't say I am also completely there. Like the new technology I want to learn is Ethereum, blockchain. So I'm trying from the last 3-4 months to really get my hands into it, hands on. But I'm nowhere near. I'm just an amateur in the field right now. So again, getting that time, maybe because coding, I feel, is for discipline, that let's say if you do it one day 6 hours and then you don't do it for weeks, then you wouldn't have the memory of it, right? It's better to do it every day 1 hour. So code something every day. If so, have a project. I think one of the things that I mentioned which helps is, because if you're working on a boring project or you're just seeing some video, some guy coming and just teaching you about it, maybe that wouldn't be enough. So because for someone who is an amateur, of course, you have to be there. You have to have a teacher to get started. But once you have the basic knowledge, I encourage that have a project in mind and something that excites you. So automatically you will find some time to build it, and then you force yourself to build it in some other tech stack or whatever thing that you want to learn. So it helps you create that inspiration, drive in you to make time, because you have to make time for it, right? Eventually, so within the, let's say, within the office hours, you'll always get that 1-2 hours that you might just Instagram or stuff like that. I think that 1-2 hour consistently, if you work on that project, eventually you'll learn. And don't aim to become an expert at it. It's very hard to become, because you're having a full-time job, to become a complete expert. Let's say somehow I feel that I will be an expert in AI, just working at it. No, equip yourself. And of course, the real thing that you learn is once you actually get associated to a company, to an actual product who's building it. So just be there at a beginner intermediate level. That should be the aim. The next level will always be reached, or advanced level will be reached once you actually get associated with the company. So I think that's my opinion.